Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. Recently, heavy rumors have been swirling about a Star Wars game being presented in a couple of days at the Game Awards, with the title ending in The Old Republic. Of course, everyone is instantly thinking and hoping, just like I am, that we might be getting something for the Knights of the Old Republic remake that was revealed almost 4 years ago now. So today, we'll break down all the possibilities and the likelihood of this actually being the case. But before we get into that fully, make sure to show off your hype for KOTOR by scrolling down and hitting those hype, like, and subscribe buttons to help us reach our like goal of 25 likes on this video, and so you don't miss out on any Knights of the Old Republic news as it comes out. Also, consider becoming a member of the channel to be listed and have your approved and chosen images shown at the end of videos, just like this one. Now, without further ado, let's get into this rumor and, if true, what the possibilities of the reveal possibly are. Recently through X, user Kurakasis stated that a Star Wars game was going to be shown off at the Game Awards, and that it had nothing to do with the Zero Company or the previously teased Eclipse games for the Star Wars franchise, with a heavy favorite at the time actually being the third game in the Star Wars Jedi series with Cal Kestis. But recently, he doubled back, replying to his old tweet, stating that the rumored game he was talking about ends in the title being The Old Republic, which is huge news for fans who have been waiting for any news on the Knights of the Old Republic remake like I have, and it's what basically everyone has gravitated to it being. Now, before jumping onto the immediate hype, there are 3 major possible other projects that have been rumored before that it could be. One being the Total War Star Wars either DLC or full-on entry into their franchise. This Star Wars entry for Total War has been rumored since I believe last year. There has been buzz of the Total War series having something to do with the Star Wars IP, and although only slightly hinted at or rumored, I think it's still something to consider, especially with Creative Assembly stating that they have a truly special new Total War game that will be revealed at this year's Game Awards for sure. I've personally never played a Total War game myself, but it being centered around the Star Wars KOTOR era units does make a lot of sense in my opinion, as it's a popular and fan favorite era in the series that hasn't been touched on too much, and has units that I think would reflect well within the types of units and battles I've seen from brief gameplay snippets. Although personally, out of all possibilities, this is personally my least wanted out of all of them as of right now. Option 2, this could be associated to the Star Wars The Old Republic old MMORPG. This to me though is highly unlikely. Star Wars The Old Republic has been around since December 20th, 2011, so it's been out for 14 years. And unless they're planning on completely revamping major aspects about the game, or taking it and all of its content for the first time ever over to consoles, I just don't see them purchasing a slot at the Game Awards to announce it, as to get on, it's been revealed that it takes a ton of money, even for a small presentation. And not only that, they've basically handed all the busy work of patches, small updates, and bug management over to another company, being Broadsword Online Games, back in mid-2023. Overall, I see this, as I said earlier, being a very low probability, but still something I thought should be mentioned. And even if it was a console port of the MMORPG over to consoles, I would actually personally still be pretty excited, as I can't game on PC myself, but have been wanting to play the MMORPG, as I've heard great things about it, love the Star Wars universe, the era that it's actually taking place in, and of course, the cinematics and story that have been done in the game have been favorited by a lot of fans in the franchise. And lastly, the last option being option 3, I think it could be a new Old Republic centered game. I think this is also very unlikely though in my opinion, as I feel like they would want to finish the KOTOR remake before moving on to anything else in the Old Republic era, especially with its canon in the Star Wars universe being a little bit murky. But I believe if this was the case and a new Old Republic centered game was in the works, we would have heard at least some rumbling of it before now. Now, with all the pessimistic things it could be out of the way, let's break into why it actually could be news on the KOTOR Remake. Knights of the Old Republic's remake has been in the dark for years now, and with us getting sparse updates every now and then, it's not enough to actually keep us in the loop of what's really going on with it. This game in particular has been in the deepest pits of development hell for some time, and I think to remind people about the game and bring back everyone's hopes on it, re-revealing it now would be the right move, especially if it is actually close to release, say within the next year or early 2027. Now, we've covered this in other videos, and if you want to follow the crazy development cycle and stuff happening behind the scenes for this game, I covered them all in detail with my previous update videos about the game. But the most important out of all of them so far is the fact that in investor reports for Saber Interactive, the people currently in charge of the remake now, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is still being stated as a project being worked on and due for a release at an undetermined date behind the scenes. This, along with the timeline they've had to work on the game until now, the fact that they may have accelerated development time with all the shifting of assets and personnel that happened during the development team shift around August 2022, it all seems to be pointing in the direction of us actually getting the re-reveal we've all been waiting for at this year's Game Awards, now that we've had the rumor of it possibly happening with the Star Wars game and title tease rumor we got from Kurakasis. Overall, I was already excited and thinking this could be one of the best Game Awards shows so far for other reasons. But if I'm getting that and the KOTOR Remake re-reveal, it'll be the best show I've had the pleasure of seeing, hands down. And if you're interested on seeing why I think this will be the best Game Awards show yet, make sure to check out that video and the previously talked about KOTOR update videos that will be linked down below this video in the description. I'm super excited to see what's to come from this show, and if Knights of the Old Republic's remake is there, I'll be screaming in the utmost joy as we get into its reveal. If you want to catch my live reactions to the Game Awards, make sure to tune into the channel and watch the stream with us the day of as we co-stream the event. But guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you are sniffing the hopium and think the KOTOR Remake will be at the event, if you think the rumored Star Wars game will actually even be revealed during the Game Awards, and let me know how long you've been waiting for the KOTOR Remake in the comment section down below. For everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. As always, your support to your viewership, liking, and subscribing is always greatly appreciated and helps me out tremendously against the galactic threat that is the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Peace!